Hi, welcome back to the Leadership Help Desk, where we're just trying not to screw things up. We're striving for purity in leadership, purity in management, just better management leadership practices. Our topic for today is a doozy. Why employees steal and what to do about it. I looked up some things on the internet and saw that according to Forbes, 5% of loss is due to theft. That's your profit margin in many cases. CNB says $50 billion a year. And as you know, Home Depot, if you watch CNBC and those kinds of channels, has also not just, they're thinking maybe employee theft, but they're losing 10% due to theft. They're kind of saying it's the opioid rings and whatnot. But still, this is a big, big issue. 75% of employees have stolen. Might have been a paper clip, a pen, some paper. It might have been $10,000. Or food from the restaurant. Things matter. 30% of small businesses that have failed, probably due to theft. What's going on? You have to ask yourself the question, are people, employees, inherently bad or inherently good? I think of people as being inherently good, but society and culture and circumstances turn them into something bad. And that's just made worse when the workplace is horrible. But then we have to consider maybe people are inherently bad and parenting made them good. We kind of domesticated them, me and you, and then those tendencies come out due to various things. Now, an interesting thing is, if you're an employer, is to look out for the people who arrive early, the model employee. They arrive early, they stay late, and they don't take vacations, meaning that every opportunity they get, they make it a big opportunity to take as much as they can. Now, what do people steal? Well, over here we have cash. You know that when you go to a fast food place and it says if you didn't get a receipt, tell the manager? It's because they knew, if you pay the exact change, boom, right into the pocket, out goes the food. There was no transaction. Time. I would imagine we're all guilty of that. Effort. Now here is where it gets crazy. You said, well, they come to work, but the effort, they're not giving their best. And what to do about that. Also, service. You go to a place and it has crappy service. And you go, they have poor service quality, I'm not going back. Well, they kind of just stole from you, right? They stole the customer because the customer doesn't want to come back, and it was because they were acting in a certain way. And it was probably due to revenge to get back at management, which is what we're coming up to here. Of course, merchandise, equipment usage, the people driving around in the company car on Sunday and other ways. So let's start off with Gary Hamel. It's a paper I read many years ago, but it said, and it was worldwide, it was a big study, across countries. He said they found out that 80% of employees are not fully engaged. Okay. 80% of the people aren't really into work. The workplace, the job, the position. 20%, therefore, 20% of employees are engaged. They're all in. But the big thing going on here is 20%, it's 120%. 20% are engaged against the company. So of the 80% that are not fully engaged, 20% of those people are actually, and they're there to get back at you. Folks, we got to do something about this. If you have a business, you need to be watching out for everything that you do and the reaction the employees have. This is very dangerous territory. You might even fail due to revenge. Another paper I read was Feeding the Hog. It was a really interesting story. It was a lumber mill kind of situation. They're going to process lumber into finished goods. It might have been 2x4s, it might have been desk. It doesn't really matter. But the managers had noticed that absenteeism was next to zero. People came to work. Uh-oh, here we go again. And productivity was really high. Because, man, people come to work and they get the job done. But profits are going down and down and down. And these people could not figure out why. People come to work, they get the job done, but there's no profit. What's going on? And they worked and they worked and they worked to try to figure out, where's the money going? This is crazy. We audit the employees' work, the workload, the quota for the day, and still, where's the profit? So they brought in some consultants. And now these were, I would imagine, according to this, they led us to believe that it was crusty old men running a lumber mill. And they go, where's our money? And the consultant says, well, I'll see what I can do. And the consultant went out to the factory place. And what did they find? They found spinning blades everywhere. The place was dangerous. It was also dusty. All the sawdust and stuff floating in the air. You can't breathe. It's noisy. Oh, the machine. It would be one of the worst workplaces ever. But to make matters worse, they had managers yelling at them, barking at everything. And man, this is the worst place in the world to work. Yet people come to work. They don't miss work. And they get the job done. So the consultant's going, okay, crappy workplace, crappy managers, employees come to work. This does not make any sense at all. So the consultants go over and talk to an employee. And they go, look, this is the worst place in the world to work. It's obvious. But you keep coming to work. We have records, we've seen it. Absenteeism is next to zero. So the employee goes, well, we have to come to work. But who would want to come to work here? Goes, well, if I don't come to work, my coworkers, we have a club, and they will charge each of us, for every day we miss, they'll charge us $20. The consultant's going, why would your coworkers charge you $20 not if you don't come to work? What do they care? He says, well, yeah, we miss our day pay, and we have to give the club $20. What do they do with the $20? He says, well, every couple of months, every quarter or so, they take all the money, the secretary or the treasurer of the club takes the money, and we have a big beer and barbecue fest. And the consultant's going, this makes no sense. What? Over beer and barbecue? He goes, no, man, if we don't come to work, we can't feed the hog. Consultant's going, man, this place is nasty, but I don't see any hogs. He goes, what the hell is the hog? Where's the hog? There's no hogs here. Feed the hog. What does that mean? He said, you see back at the back of the building, see, we finish our lumber up here, and then we have to take it to the warehouse, which is the next building. But at the back of this building, there's this big grinding machine. It was huge. He goes, that's where we throw in all our scrap. And the guy says, well, okay, your coworkers charge you $20 if you don't come to work because you have to help clean up at the end of the day. He goes, no, I mean, that's part of it, but if you're not at work, you can't feed the hog, and we don't just throw scrap into the hog. You throw finished lumber into the hog? He goes, oh yeah, if you're not at work, you can't feed the hog. We have a quota to get things done at work, which is what they're talking about with the productivity. But the club has a different quota, and that quota is to throw the finished goods, the 2x4s, whatever, into the hog. You're throwing away the finished product into the hog? He goes, oh yeah, yeah. Can you imagine a situation where the employees are so upset, so disgruntled, so disrespected, that they actually throw the goods into the shredder? And the consultant's going, doesn't anybody see? He said, well, think about it. The reason we have a hog is to chop up the scrap lumber. And that gets turned into wood chips, which goes into that particle board. You know, that squeezed, glued together, sawdust looking board? He goes, yeah, we don't make much money off of that, but once we grind up the goods, nobody can tell the difference. Can you imagine? Now, what to do? What if you got people stealing from you? You know it's a threat. It's a threat. What can we do? Well, we're trying not to be heavy on rules, heavy on policies in this realm. This is purity in leadership. We're trying to instill values. We're trying to do things and treat people the way they want to be treated. So we could say, without putting up a policy or a rule, we could go over what an ethical violation is, just in case somebody doesn't understand that taking up anything from the company it's an ethical violation. And there's ethical violation, zero tolerance. If you're stealing, that's an ethical violation, and don't do it. Just don't do it. When I worked at a big corporation, a box broke open, and that box had apples in it, and the employees ate the apple. The manager saw them eating the freight, and they were gone over an apple. I mean, if you start to say that, okay, you can steal a little bit, then, where's it going to end? So, what is an ethical violation, and what does that mean? It means you're going to get fired. And that's end of story. We don't have to preach it constantly, but make sure everybody understands what an ethical violation is. Driving your vehicle on a Sunday is stealing. Make sure everybody understands that. Because some people will go, oh, it's just a little bit of gas, nobody cares. No, it's stealing. Make it personal. What can we do to avoid theft? I think we make it personal. It's a lot easier to steal from a stranger than it is to steal from your grandmother, right? Or your friend, although that happens too. Make it personal. If you build relationships with your employees, it should be more difficult for them to be tempted to thieve. Because not only are they thieving, but hopefully they have a conscience, and they're going to have a lot of embarrassment and shame. Instill values. As a leader, what are we about? What's the company about? We're about integrity. We're about customer service. We're about product quality. We have a mission. We're all a team. There's equity. You're treated good, and if you're not, let us know. And attend to employee needs. Now, in the videos, the past videos, the future videos, a lot of them have stuff on employee needs. We can look at Maslow. We can look at the 5 job characteristics. We could look at a lot of people. Hawthorne effect. What do people need? Well, this goes kind of back to make it personal. They need fair pay. If we can afford it, pay them a little more. So there's a sense of equity. Recognition. We don't have to give plaques or trophies, but just some kind of recognition of appreciation. Belongingness. Building a team spirit. Building a family kind of situation. Pumping up their self-esteem so they feel good about themselves and have some pride. Meaningful jobs. If the job is boring and they're already out the door planning to quit, not such a good situation. Respect. If you don't respect, what happened over here with Feeding the Hog? I think they felt disrespected. And attention, going back to Hawthorne, attention and caring. I think if you show attention and caring, it would be more difficult for the employee to steal from the company. So, last, don't become jaded. So proud of a manager, an owner, relatively large business owner that came to speak, and I was there, and she talked about the charity, the training, the loans, the emergency considerations for the employees and what she did for them, and trying to get them to grow, giving them responsibility. And then she has one or a few employees that steal from her. After she's given them all of that, then they still steal from her. And I was so proud when she said, don't become jaded. Just because one person steals from you, yeah, you need to be on alert, but that doesn't mean you have to start treating everybody like a thief. Putting up new policies, new rules, threats, going negative on everybody. Great advice. Do what you can, make them feel like family, instill values, attend to their needs, and if something goes bad, don't become jaded. It might just be an isolated incident. So there we go. Theft is a big problem, but who's to blame? If we go back to the Deming, the 96-4 rule, would that apply? 4% of the theft incidences is due to really bad employees, and 96% of the time it might be due to management being jerks and employees wanting revenge. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and clickety-click the like button, and share with your friends, share with the business owners. I think there's a lot of stuff outside of obvious theft, but some solutions, and these are great stories. And you do not want to be in a situation where your employees feed the hog. Thanks, and I'll see you later. Have a great day.